Hi, and welcome to Everyday Living with Penny. I'm your host, Penny Malone, and this is my special guest. Her name's Nikki. It's my cousin from Chicago.
Hello.
We have been really close all of our life. Most of our family has been very blessed to have a huge family, and we always do stuff together. So they used to come in all the time, 3 or 4 times a year, so we were always doing crazy things, picking blackberries, picking huckleberries, making breakfast for everybody, like 5 o'clock in the morning. And
We'd set our alarm.
yep, all kinds of stuff. So, but today she's going to be making a potato dish, green beans. We're going to do a flank steak for you, and we're going to have a
Caramelized
onions. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the potatoes, and she's going to put it together, and I'm going to chop the potatoes for her. So
All
go
right.
ahead.
Okay, so basically she's going to chop the potato to where you slice it to about...
Kind of like chips.
Yeah, basically. About a 1/4 inch slice. And then I call these pocket potatoes. So the only reason why I call them pocket is because you, when you're done with them, you're going to have like a little pocket pouch, or pouch potatoes. It's probably
Right.
better for pouch potatoes. But you take about 3 slices of tin foil here, lay them out flat, and spray with cooking spray so they don't stick. And then we're going to lay them out flat on the tin foil, a little bit even, and then do a little bit of a layer.
It would be good if I cut my finger.
Yeah, don't cut your finger. We're not sending you to the emergency room, please.
You ready for these two?
Throw them on.
We've already got some out on the grill. That way you'll see what they look like coming off.
Yeah, they do take a little while to cook, so if you're prepping for dinner, I suggest getting this ready and on the grill first, because it does take about 30 to 40 minutes to cook on the grill. This little last piece here.
Okay, we'll get that out of the way.
Yeah. All right, so you see how I have them piled up here. Move this back a little bit. And then we're gonna take some salt and pepper. Put that even on here.
And she has sprayed her tin foil with cooking spray.
Yeah,
That
that's
way-
key because it will stick. And then some pepper. Growing up, I never really liked black pepper.
It always made her sneeze.
Yes.
So she said she was allergic to it. She said,
And as I've gotten older, I've actually appreciate pepper a little bit more now. Okay, so salt and pepper, and then some garlic salt. I prefer garlic salt. Garlic powder doesn't give it enough flavor. Just sprinkle that on. And then some seasoning salt. And again, this is to taste. I mean, some people don't like a lot of salt or garlic, so it, that part is optional. And then we're gonna do
diced garlic.
diced garlic. You could do minced garlic in the jar. I prefer using the fresh garlic. I think that gives the best flavor when it's cooking on the grill. And about 2 or 3 cloves chopped, put on there. And then another thing that you could use is shallots. That is another thing that gives good flavor.
I could not find shallots, so
So
we
we're
have
using
pearl
little pearl
onions.
onions.
So
We're just gonna throw those on here. A couple more. The rest we'll use for the green beans.
okay.
Okay. And then you could do butter or margarine. I always use butter. Butter's my best friend. Like Paula Deen. I'm just gonna throw these on here. Depending on how many potatoes you have, when I make these at home for my family, I do smaller packets. So I do about a tablespoon,
Everybody gets their own packet, kind of.
basically, yeah. But we're doing
And you
them
could
in larger
probably mix and
packets.
match that way too, because some people might not like onions, some people might not like
Garlic.
or salt, the seasoning salt. Everybody has their own different taste.
Yeah. So we're gonna put that. And so the key with this too is how you bunch it up. So I take the 2 corners here, across from each other,
Okay, and now how many pieces of tinsel did you have?
I did about 3. So 2 on the bottom and then 1 across.
Okay.
And like I was saying before, if you're gonna do them individually, to where this is probably about 2 to 3 potatoes per pouch. If you're gonna do individual ones, I would do about a potato a pouch. And obviously a smaller pieces of tinfoil. So push it up here, and then you take the other 2 sides and just start crunching it up. So you wanna have enough air vents for the top, yeah. And you don't wanna make any of the liquid come out when it starts cooking. So it just looks like a little pouch.
Okay, so we're going to put this to the side, and when we put the steak on, we will put that on as well. So right now we are going to get ready for the green beans, and we'll be right back.
Egan Construction in Gate City is a fully licensed electrical, industrial, commercial, and residential contractor whose services include maintenance on home or corporate offices, custom designed kitchen renovations, demolitions, insurance restorations due to water dryouts, wind damage, or fire, licensed interior designing and architectural drawings, full excavations. They're licensed in Virginia and Tennessee. That's Egan Construction, 345 Water Street in Gate City.
All right, we're back, and we're going to be making some special green beans. And I'm going to let her tell you what all she's putting in it here.
All right. So basically you take frozen cut green beans.
That is 2 2-pound bags of frozen green beans is what I've got. And let me tell you this too, we are feeding probably about 12 or 15 people here, so you can easily cut these down. But I have a bunch of family in because we have a reunion tomorrow, and so we thought we would make lunch for them and film at the same time, kind of 2 birds, 1 stone. So she's got a big pot here and 4 pounds of cut green beans.
Lost one, obviously.
Okay.
All right, so you just throw those in there, and the pot is perfect, yeah.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is add a little bit of water, and then you want to just turn it on, and I would say enough to kind of get the bottom, probably about 1 inch in the bottom to get it going. That's good, that's good. And then what's next here? Then you just start throwing a whole bunch of stuff in. Okay. So first we're gonna do, we did 2 packages of, not bacon bits, they're actually
Bacon pieces.
Bacon pieces, yeah.
Or crumbles.
Throw that in here for flavor. And then we're gonna do some more diced fresh garlic. Okay.
And here's
some butter. I would say for this amount of green beans, a total about 3/4 of a stick. So we had about, what, 2 tablespoons on the other stick? So yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, some Worcestershire sauce.
Say that 3 times fast.
Worcestershire. I'm probably saying it totally wrong. This, I would say, maybe about 1/4 cup. I'm just gonna use the rest of this bottle here. Okay. And then we have some of these pearl onions left over. You could do sliced onion,
shallots if you can
Shallots,
find them.
if you can find them, yes. We're gonna throw these in here.
It smells really good.
And then what do we do with, oh, the salt, or seasoning salt
Oh, seasons.
and garlic salt. Throw the rest of that in here. Oops, sorry. And then some seasoning salt. Again, this is for flavor. I usually go back in and when they start cooking down and taste one of them just to make sure I've added enough salt. Some garlic salt. And salt and pepper. It's
We have
okay.
children here, so
Yeah.
if you hear any weird noises, it's okay.
Tractor noises.
And I want to thank my cousin Marvin for letting me use his house too. So his beautiful kitchen, and we're going to be grilling out on his back deck too. So
a little bit more
he
salt.
also sponsors the show. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He is Egan Construction is his business, and he is one of my big sponsors. Maybe biased since we're family. I don't know.
It's okay. We won't tell anybody.
Okay, this is olive oil.
Sorry. This is my first rodeo.
You're doing good.
So about a quarter cup of olive oil, just enough to give it some grease in there. We'll put that in there. And I think that's it. So these are ready to go on the oven. Stove. Stove, yeah.
So what do you put it on?
Just put it on medium heat. Would help.
Oh, I
if
didn't light it.
Yeah. Let's not blow the place
I don't
up.
need me and fire don't mix well, so I'll let her do that.
And then I usually don't cover it, but you can cover it if you want them to cook a little bit longer, or faster, I should say. So you just need to stir them as well. Hope I didn't lose my shoe. And just mix it up and let them cook down. Probably for a good, I'd say 45 minutes to an hour, until they're the right softness that you want them to be. And that's it.
Okay, so that one's done. Now we're going to fix some caramelized onions for you. All right, now we're going to be making some caramelized onions, and we went ahead and cut some already in petal shapes, and we've got butter, sugar, your seasoning salt, garlic salt, salt and pepper, and I think that's about it.
That's about it, yep.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this onion for her while she goes puts that together. You usually put it in a frying pan, but we have so much we put it in a wok because it has higher sides on it. So you can use whatever you have available.
And I'm just gonna slice this butter, so, and for this amount of onions, we're doing about 3/4 of a stick of butter. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in the pan.
About how long does it usually take to cook these down?
Not long.
So it's probably one of the last things that you want to make if you're making it for dinner, right?
Yeah. Or you could prep it ahead of time and just let it cook while you're making everything else.
That is true.
That's what I usually do with the green beans. So we're gonna go ahead and get this melted a little bit.
Okay.
This reminds me of us prepping things at 5 o'clock in the morning and making
Right.
out our menu for making biscuits and gravy. And
We'd stay up half the night thinking, okay, we're gonna make biscuits and gravy. I'm gonna make the biscuits, she makes the gravy. And we usually fried what, sausage and bacon and
make scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs.
And then we'd have some kind of fruit.
Right, and I think we did oatmeal at one point in time, didn't we,
I
too?
think so.
And then I could always remember hearing my mom holler, "You two need to go to sleep." So we always talk.
Stay up half the night.
Yep. We can't do that anymore. We've gotten older.
Yeah. We're a little too old for that
We
now.
need our sleep now.
All right, so we got this pan good and hot here. Some of
You
the
need a-
butter melted. I'm just gonna put it on this towel.
Okay.
Then we're gonna go ahead and put these onions in here. Make sure you don't have mascara on when you're cutting these onions because they will make you cry.
They have tracks.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and season these before I put them on the oven. Oh, the oven, I did it again. The stove. Salt and pepper. Again, to taste, depending on how much you want. You want to
Give
check
it a
those
quick
green beans?
stir
Yeah.
on the green beans.
For this recipe, we're not doing seasoning salt, just some garlic salt. And the sugar, we leave until they cook down a little bit more, till they start to get a little soft. So we'll leave that for a little bit here.
And these were Vidalia onions is what we cut up too.
Correct, yeah, any kind of
Any
sweet onion.
sweet onion, yeah.
All right, so we'll let that cook. Let's mix it up a little bit here. You know what, looking at this, we might have to add a little bit more butter.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding the pan, because
Oh,
with
you're
my luck, it
welcome.
would end up in,
Start spinning.
yeah, or end up in the floor.
That's okay. I do stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, we're gonna cut some more butter here. Okay. And I would say just a couple more teaspoons. Thank you. We'll do 3.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that's going to. We're going to let this cook down for a little while, and then we will be back with the flank steaks to show you how or what kind of marinade that we use and the ingredients. Okay, we're back and we're going to show you how to make the marinade for the steak. But first, we're going to check in on our green beans and our onions. Our onions have cooked down quite a bit, as you can see. And she did go ahead and sprinkle some sugar in.
Some white sugar, just enough to cover it. And at the same time, I went ahead and added some balsamic vinegar.
Make sure it is balsamic vinegar though.
Yeah, not white vinegar, apple cider vinegar. It's got to be the brown balsamic vinegar.
Gives it a really great taste.
Yeah, that's I think what really caramelizes it.
Yeah. Okay, and then our green beans, they're cooking down real good. And
I don't know, probably shouldn't tip that. But you could tell they're a nice green color now. And they're
not
boiling.
frozen anymore.
Yeah, not hard. They're getting a little soft, so these are almost done.
Okay.
So I trimmed
And,
those down low.
we checked on our potatoes too, and they are getting done. Smell really good.
Very good.
And now our marinade.
Yeah.
So We used orange juice. It does not have to be, you know, the most expensive brand you can find.
The cheapest
Just
is the
something
best
cheap.
because it's going to get poured down the drain,
Right.
basically.
So you go ahead and tell what I use.
So yeah, well, as far as the steak goes or meat, you're going to want to use, I don't know if it's necessarily a cheaper grade of meat, but a meat that you really need to tenderize or marinate. So I wouldn't use like a filet or ribeye or New York strip for this kind of marinade. So what we used was flank steak. So let's see if I can actually get it up here. So it's a bigger piece of meat. So I marinated this overnight. What I did was I went ahead and seasoned it with salt, pepper, garlic salt, seasoning salt, whatever kind of spices you have in your cabinet is fine. So I made sure I covered the meat in that, sliced up some limes.
So she just covered the meat with the orange juice. You don't actually have to use the whole gallon, just whatever you need
Well,
to.
hold on.
Oh.
Let's
Okay.
rewind here for a second.
Okay,
'Cause
sorry.
when I was making this last night, I remembered that you just don't throw it all in here at once. What's good is to actually prep the meat with the seasonings and then take like a separate bowl and you add, so we added only about a little less than a half a gallon of orange juice, a little bit of the olive oil, and then I added more of the same seasonings
About
to
how
it.
much of the olive oil do you think? Fourth
I
of a
would
cup,
say about a
half?
fourth of a cup.
Fourth, okay.
Yeah, because what you want is enough liquid to cover the meat in whatever kind of container you're putting it in. The other key ingredient is limes. You could use lemons, any kind of citrus fruit, even maybe oranges. But we're going to use limes, or we did use limes. I just cut them in half and then used a juicer, and you basically squeeze the juice in the bowl that you're mixing the ingredients in.
That helps break down the fats and things in your meat too. That way it's a lot tender when you cook it, bake it, grill it, whatever you're going to be doing.
Yeah, so you mix up your liquid marinade with the seasonings, and then you go ahead and pour it over the meat. We used just a plastic container here, and you could throw the rinds in here because that also gives it the flavor. I don't know if you could see that.
Wait.
A little bit more. And then the other,
Did you put garlic in
I
there?
did, yes. So
I've just seen it.
Yeah. One little other ingredient we forgot. I also use minced garlic or fresh garlic. You could do either or. I prefer fresh garlic just because it has a little bit more of the flavor that brings it out in the meat.
How long do you want to leave this for? Overnight's best, I guess. right?
Overnight's best. Even if you did it 2 days in advance, it gives it even more flavor. But you don't want to necessarily do it the same day. If you're going to make it for dinner, you could do it in the morning to where it's at least marinating for
7 or 8 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So you cover it, put it in the fridge. If you're doing it overnight, when you get up in the morning, take the container, shake it a little bit, flip it upside down so the bottom of your meat gets marinated. And that is really it with this. So this will be ready for grilling.
Okay.
You're going to want to grill it to where it's actually medium rare. You don't want to overcook this meat because if you do overcook, it will be super tough. Okay.
All right, then. So we're going to get this out on the grill and check on the potatoes too. So we'll be back in just a minute.
Egan Construction in Gate City is a fully licensed electrical, industrial, commercial, and residential contractor whose services include maintenance on home or corporate offices, custom designed kitchen renovations, demolitions, insurance restorations due to water dryouts, wind damage, or fire, licensed interior designing and architectural drawings, full excavations. They're licensed in Virginia and Tennessee. That's Egan Construction, 345 Water Street in Gate City.
All right, welcome back, and with me I have Donna Horowitz, and she is in charge of Sew Crazy. It's a charity sewing group that she has formed, and she's here to tell us a little bit about it and all these projects that they're doing. So, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, first off, Sew Crazy was formed, oh gosh, September 2010, so we're
Okay.
going on 5 years.
Okay.
And is a remarkable group of women and men who get together once a month, the third Saturday of every month, and we sew items for different charity groups which are within the Tri-Cities and the general area around.
Okay. About how many participants do you have?
On email, we have about 25.
Okay.
Usually, though, an average meeting is anywhere from 12 to 15 different individuals who come. Some of our folks may not make it to the actual meeting, but what they do is they sew at home and then drop off their projects and
Gotcha.
contribute that way, especially some of our elderly ladies.
Okay. Where at do you meet?
We meet in Johnson City at Bethlehem Lutheran Church.
Okay.
And from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay. All right then. So you want to tell me about some of your
Oh,
projects?
certainly,
that you have?
yes. This is a variety of different items. I've tried to kind of group them together because they're similar, but they were done at different times,
Okay.
if that makes sense at
All
all.
right then.
Let's start with our young lady behind us.
Okay. All right then.
This usually we don't do clothing, but this actual project was for the Shepherd's Inn in Elizabethton.
Okay.
It's a women's shelter for abuse situations.
Okay.
The interesting thing about that organization was that they allow the children to come with,
Okay.
including little boys, all the way up to, well, I guess they're not little boys, they go all the way up to age 15.
Okay.
Usually some of the women's shelters don't do that. So obviously if you're in that situation, when you arrive, you basically only have the clothing on your back.
Right.
So we decided to make bathrobes for the ladies and their kids
Okay.
and donated those.
Oh, okay.
Then let's move over to, oh, I don't know, we'll jump in. Well, I think I'm going to talk about our most interesting collection that we have here.
Yes, definitely.
This is our cage that we have, and if you'll notice, we have some stuffed kitties hanging up in there. And the feature on this particular project was the hammock that's hanging up in there. Now that project was used both for the feral cats of Northeast Tennessee and also the Irwin Animal Shelter.
Okay.
And how that benefits the group there is that the cats are more relaxed and more open to be adopted. People think if they're relaxed, you know,
Okay.
and we work with that. Another animal project, doesn't really seem like it, is actually this bag here. This was also for the Irwin Shelter. And what's interesting about that is Sew Crazy works totally from donations
Right. Okay.
of fabrics. And sometimes we run a little short. So this project, though, is actually somewhat fabric related. It's fabric and paper. What we've taken are bags from the food seeds, from bird seed, dog food bags, horse food, and then we chop them down and we sew them into tote bags, and then the animal shelter uses those as fundraisers.
Oh, nice.
So it gives us a little bit of something different to make.
Right.
As you can see, we do different items. So that's kind of our animal projects. We also have a course done doggy coats and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And speaking of doggies, we're going around the table here.
Okay.
Sew Crazy is very big on stuffed animals. It's one of our happier projects that we have. We have done stuffed animals for CASA of Northeast Tennessee and also for Woodridge Hospital in Johnson City. A very big demand for that. We are always looking for polyfill for stuffed animals. We are asked by places to make this type of project, but since we have no funds of our own. We can't go out and buy what we need. We can only do what we have. So
Right.
always looking for polyfill.
Right. And now, and you told me too that you were in the process of getting your nonprofit
Yes,
status.
we
Okay.
sure are.
So they are taking donations, monetary, and of course the supplies, like she was saying, you know, for whether it be fabric, polyfill, whatever extra that you have that you may want to donate. But we'll talk a little more about that later. And but go ahead and finish.
Oh, sure.
your-
Okay, as we're going around, oh, that's okay. There's a lot here to look at. Down here we have one of our wheelchair bags, and we did that for the Crumley House out in Limestone.
Okay. Do you want to pick it up?
Yeah, about 2 years ago. It was a good size bag, you know, and we had some different versions of it just to flip over. And the wheelchair bag possibility also goes with strollers, and we have
Right.
used that for other places before for some of our elderly residents
Right.
in nursing home situations, kind of
Okay.
thing. What we have here are heads that we have. The heads represent the cancer caps that we do in connection with, these are mastectomy aprons that are used. Probably best if I kind of show it up a little bit. They're nice and bright and colorful. They're used for ladies when they've gone through cancer treatment and they've had a mastectomy for JP drain plugs, which is actually an item that is not issued through the hospital. It's actually something that's not out there that the patient can buy. So we provide those. The cheerful colors are in high demand.
Right.
We're the only group in this area that makes them. Regretfully, we don't make enough to keep up with. Just there's a
Right.
lot of, the need is great,
Right.
but we like it. It's a fun project. A lot of our projects, we try to keep them fairly simple so that the beginner sewer and the sewer who's been sewing for a long time can jump right in and feel at ease. Then we're going to move kind of forward. We have one of our, this is kind of hard to do, but this is our quick flip quilt that we have here. That is a quilt that was used for Catholic Charities that actually went to the homeless
Oh, okay.
in the Johnson City and the Greenville area. Those folks who are transitioning from a homeless environment, be it individuals or families, into a more secure setting, they have to go through a series of criteria and some classes and that kind of thing. But once they start establishing their residency, we try to give them something for their home.
Good.
Pillowcases are always a fun project. This was actually our very first So Crazy project. This is what started it off. And they went to Niswanger Children's Hospital at that time. And as we go into kids, you might say. We have down front there, we have Baby Doll. Baby Doll represents two separate projects. First project that we did for children, this was used, and we have different sizes, for the preemies in the, I think that was Holston Valleys,
Okay.
premature infant area, and very big need, and of course we made them real super tiny as well. And the other project that Baby is representing for us, the little headband, that, it's fallen off there, that, the diaper bags, and the neck pillows, and we have, of course, the baby slings, okay? Those are all being turned into Hope House, which is located in Kingsport. And Hope House is a place where young women who are needing assistance right during their pregnancy and going up into the birth, and they need baby items, they go there and they, again, have their own setup that they have to do, their criteria, and they're provided these items, and which is there in, you know, short demand, so they need some more of that. We have down front here, this again is into our children's area. Those were our, we call them our bereavement gowns and things. Again, these are for the premature infants that don't make it. And so it gives some comfort to the family as they're going through that process. So that's a little bit more heart-wrenching project that we do versus some of the other ones. But all are a big need.
Right.
We work on these projects year-round.
Right.
So it jumps around, you know. Sometimes we'll be doing children, sometimes we'll be doing animals or personal items. I can tell you that in our future, we're going to be making backpacks for the men and women over at the VA Center.
Nice.
You know.
They'll really like that.
That has been requested for a long time.
Yes.
And we will also be going into making more doggy coats, but this time for the Kingsport shelter.
Okay.
So there's a lot on our plate.
Sounds like it.
That as far as the whole thing goes. Now, I know had touched on the idea of the not-for-profit that we
Right.
have. Well, after this amount of time and that many people in our group, we have grown so much that smaller personal donations, we go through those very quickly. In order to achieve corporate donations, we have to be a nonprofit.
Right.
Well, in order to achieve that, we have to start doing all the paperwork and all the funding that is required. And that is why we are having our appeal right now to raise the funds to pay for the process of becoming a not-for-profit organization. We do have a GoFundMe page set up,
Okay.
okay, as well as our Facebook page.
Okay. So now, of course, with Facebook, you would just type the search for So Crazy.
Yes, So Crazy, yes.
Okay.
It used to be Johnson City, but we have dropped that.
Okay.
That we found that it was just easier and you can find us that way.
Right. Okay. So now with the GoFundMe, you just go to the website GoFundMe.com.
Actually,
or
the
how
way
do you-
GoFundMe works best, and we have learned this as well, is that you actually need to go through our So Crazy Facebook page.
Okay.
GoFundMe works a lot with Facebook connections.
Right, okay.
So you would pick up our link from our Facebook page to the GoFundMe.
Right. Okay. All right. And then you said your website,
Yes.
which is.
It is so-crazy.org.
Okay.
Yeah. If
All right
you get
then.
the dash, you won't get there.
So it should be on the screen for you, so-crazy.org. And you can get email contacts there and
Correct.
phone
Phone numbers.
contacts. And I'm sure they will appreciate anything that you can
Oh,
give,
definitely.
especially on the GoFundMe, so you can take care of getting the nonprofit process finished. So, well, is there anything else that you can?
Last but not least, Christmas is year-round for us at So Crazy. We do a Christmas in July, but we work on a Christmas in July program every year. We always make a good-sized stocking, and there's a different recipient each year that gets it. Last year we did a nursing home. We did about, over 100 of these.
Oh, wow.
And we filled them up with items that the folks in the nursing home needed. And
Socks, lotion, things like
that kind of thing, and homemade cookies. So Crazy people love to cook. We eat very well. We have a potluck every month that we do it, and it has a theme. So it's one of our, I guess that's our happy project in a way.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
More so.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Well, I
and I
appreciate you
wish you the
letting me
luck.
come in. Thank you.
No problem. So, and again, that was so-crazy.org, and this is Donna Horowitz. Thank you so much for joining me today on Everyday Living with Penny, and I hope you have a great day.